like that. What was it called? The box says they're called a dumpling mold. Yeah, I always have a little extra gloves on the side. Watch. I won't have enough extra now that I said that. Okay, that's what they look like. Whoop, sliding around. That's what happens. No, I'm not finished yet. What am I talking about? We'll come back after. Welcome, it's me, Martin Salama, the architect of the Warriors Life Code. Live incredibly full every day. And I'm here back in my kitchen. And today I'm going to be making something called calzones. That's an Arabic word. I think it comes from the word calzones because it sounds very similar. But really what it is, it's little, kind of like, I guess raviolis is the best way to put it. With a little bit of egg and cheese inside of each one of them. You mix the egg and cheese together, which I'm going to do in a minute. And then you let them freeze, and then you, after they're frozen for a little bit, you boil them in water, and then you put them into a casserole dish or a baking dish with some egg noodles, good old egg noodles, and some butter, and you let it bake. And it's really a fantastic number. When I was growing up, I used to watch my mother make these, and she made them from scratch. Whereas I'm going to cheat a little bit, and I went out and I got ravioli doughs. So it makes it that much simpler. So what we'll do is I'll make a bunch of them. I'll show you what it's like to make. I won't make them all in front of you, but I'll make a bunch of them, and then we'll go forward. But today, my topic is about toxic positivity. So what's toxic positivity? So I did a Facebook live stream recently about it, and up until recently, I'd never even heard of that term, toxic positivity. And as I heard more about it, I realized this is an issue. So there's a couple of different ways you could look at it. Toxic positivity could be where you're saying everything is positive when really things aren't. And you're trying to convince yourself you are, but deep down inside you're sad, you're unhappy, and you're just faking it till you make it. It's not good. Then there's also another thing that people have talked about, the word toxic positivity could be like gaslighting. Telling someone, oh no, everything's good, don't make a... It's not good. And you know, I said this on the Facebook live stream, when it comes to coaching, people think the idea of coaching is to make people happy all the time and not angry and not sad. No, that's not what it's about. Coaching is about helping people understand how to control their emotions in the moment. And as time goes on, in the beginning, you might not be in the moment, but you'd like to think that as time goes on, you'll be able to do it in the moment. But it's about to be reflective and understand what's going on. If you're angry in the beginning, you might react like I did. I was a nuclear reactor. And now, for the most part, I kind of respond. I take it in. I think about it. Is it personal, taking personal, all that stuff. But so that's what coaching is about. So toxic positivity is really counterproductive to what we teach in coaching, what we coach about. So I'm going to talk about that a little more, get into a couple of examples about it as we go along. But let's start. So recently I bought one of these little, they called like a dumpling makers, I think, or something like that. What was it called? The box says they're called a dumpling mold. A dumpling mold. So I bought them, and I was very surprised how well they held up, these calzones that I make. So the way I make calzones, especially when I'm not making a huge number of them, is I take about a pound of Munster cheese. That's for you, Elliot. I said it right. Munster cheese, not Minster cheese, the way we old people in my community say it. So a pound of Munster cheese, and we take about one egg beaten, and we stick it in here, okay? And let me get my little scraper out so I can get the rest of this egg out and put it in here, okay? And then a bit of salt, and then about a half a teaspoon of baking powder. Now, I know there's a difference between baking soda and baking powder, but I can never remember which one's which. I think one is stronger than the other, but they're basically the same thing, but one's stronger than the other. I don't know exactly. So don't kill me about it. So now I'm wearing gloves because I'm just going to take it and mix this all together. All right, to get it nice and mixed well together. And then maybe what I'll do is I'll switch the gloves. But anyway, back to toxic positivity. So I can say that I used to be a victim of that in terms of on all levels. And now that I'm getting to understand it even more, I recognize how I would always walk around thinking everything was great when really things weren't. And I would bury them and not talk about them or say I'm going to protect that person or whatever, when really what I was doing was just hurting myself, hurting the situation, hurting everybody around me. And in terms of being, I could say easily many times, I was gaslighted into toxic positivity, where somebody would say, no, things are great, don't worry about it, you're overthinking it, you're overreacting and all that. So getting through coaching and getting to understand and becoming more self-aware, it got me to understand how dangerous that really, really is to be that way and hide your emotions, or just the opposite, freak out or whatever. So I've learned to change the way I do things. So like I said, I have this little, let me close that up. I have this little mold here, dumpling mold. So, I forgot to do one thing. I have to take off one of my gloves. Okay, what I need is, what I forgot to do is a bit of water in a bowl. Okay, why do I need the water in a bowl? I'll tell you now. So the water in the bowl helps with closing up these calzones when you fill them. So the way I'll work it is, I'll put one here. Let me put another glove on. This one's garbage. Yeah, I always have a little extra gloves on the side. Watch, I won't have enough extra now that I said that. So we take two of these dumpling, to what I call actually ravioli doughs. We put them into the dumpling mold, and then we take a bit of the cheese and we stick it inside the middle of it. Then I'll take my rubber brush here and brush all around the outside, around the perimeter on the inside of the calzones, the ravioli dough, because that will help to close it up. And then I'll go like this. Whoop! Come on back up. See, and here we go. That's a calzones. So put one there. Put one there, and it's nice closed up. The first time I made these, I was like, is it going to stay closed? It actually did. So I'll do a bunch more of these. You don't have to watch me do them all. I know you don't want to, but then I'll come back. Of course, what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish making them. And then what I'll do is I'll freeze them for a little while, because for some reason, that's what they say, you should let them freeze for a little while before you dump them in boiling water and let them cook a bit. And it's just a little bit just to get them going. And then what I'll do is, and who knows, maybe somebody will tell me that I'm not doing it right, but this is the way I was taught. This is the way I learned. And then we boil them, and then we bake them. So boiled, freeze, boil, bake. Bunch of different things there. All right? And we'll put it over here. So now, while we're not here, while we're going away and I come back, think about it a minute, because there's only going to be a minute for you, and think about the effects of toxic positivity on your life and how it's been affecting you, or how it has affected you, and how you could change that going forward so that you don't feel that on either side. You could be suffering from it, or you could be guilty of it, and it's okay. And it's all right, because we're learning new things about ourselves all the time. And if you could figure out how to change the things you're doing, how wonderful would that be for everybody around you? By the way, I put on the bottom of here a layer of plastic, like cellophane, so that when I layer these now on top, when I make more of them the next level, and they're freezing, they don't get stuck together and they're frozen stuck together. I'll do one more set, and then I'll let you go. I did 6. I'll do another 2 more, and then we'll come back and we'll do some more. But what I was saying is, think about it. Think about some times in your lives when you've gone and you've done things that you look back over and say, why did I be so positive when I knew I wasn't? Or why did I make somebody feel a certain way when it wasn't the right thing to do? You know, it's okay. We're all human here. We're all learning. So take a minute, think about it, and when I come back after I've frozen them in or whatever and go to the next step, I'll continue the conversation. Hey, I'm back for a quick minute before I freeze them and all that, because I forgot. I wanted to show you how I do them without the press. So it's very simple. We take one of these. By the way, these came in frozen, so I let them thaw a little bit, so they're a little thawed, I just take it in my hand, put a little bit of the cheese in, about a teaspoon, maybe a little more. Okay, see there, it's in there like that. Then I take the water and I put it around like that, and then we put that there. We close it up, and then what we want to do is I close it up, and then I want to make it like that. I want to close it, basically squeeze it all around it. So here it is again. It's a little slower, but if you don't have the press, that's how you can do it. So that layer is finished. So I'll put a little plastic on it, and then I'll continue. I'll do another one, and then just for you to see it all. So here we go. Here's the ravioli dough. Here's the cheese. Just put a bit of cheese in there. Teaspoon, a little bit more than a teaspoon. Put the water around. The water is very important because it acts as a glue to hold it all in. And then you just fold it across. Boom, boom, boom. Like that. And then we're done. And then I'll come back after they're frozen and all that and show you the rest of it. So welcome back. So now what I'm going to do is I have in this pot over here, I have the egg noodles boiling, and then I'll drain them out, and they'll be part of the, kind of like, it's like the nest for the calsones that we're going to put into another pot. So I have 2 pots of water boiling right now. So I'll boil these. They take about 2 minutes each one, 2 to 3 minutes. I'll put 5 or 6 in at a time. I'll do 6 because there's 18 of them. I'm doing 18. I was able to make 36 of them with what I did before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'll let those cook for a couple of minutes, and then I will pull them out and put them inside here, and then I'll keep letting it. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some ham on the bottom of this, and throughout it I'm going to salt and butter it a little bit. It gives it some unbelievable flavors by having the salt and the butter in there. So we're going to do that as well. So I'm just going to slice up little pats of butter and put them around on the bottom of the baking dish so that it'll melt and it'll be all goodness on the bottom. My family doesn't like me to put too much butter. They get too buttery, but that's what it looks like for now. As these are starting to boil, like I said, a minute or so, and the noodles will be a little bit more. And then I'm going to layer it. I'll boil it, put some of the noodles on the bottom. Those get crunchy. Then I'll put some noodles, and then I'll put some more of the calsones, and then a little bit more noodles, and like that. And this way, it's like kind of layered, and it gets cooked up. So, after I do this first bunch, I'll come back after it's all put together, so that you don't have to sit here and watch me do the whole thing the whole time. But let's just go back to, did you think about what I was talking about? Toxic positivity. Don't let it take you down. Don't let it engulf you, and don't be gaslit by it either. It's very easy to do that. You don't even recognize that it's happening most of the time. So it's an important thing. Tell me what you're thinking below. Tell me what your thoughts are about toxic positivity and how it might be showing up in your life. It's such an important topic. So you see these guys are already boiling. So I'm going to take them out a couple at a time. All right, and stick them right in here. All right, these look good. All right, a couple more. And the rest of it'll continue to cook in the oven because it's going to go in the oven for about 35 minutes after I put it all together. And there's no extra cheese, no other things, just the calzones, the noodles, the salt and pepper, salt and butter. So we'll just put a little bit of that. You don't need pepper for this recipe. So we'll just put those around a little bit, show you what that looks like. Okay, that's what they look like. Whoop, sliding around. That's what happens. But anyway, show it again. All right, so that's what's happening there. And so it's part of what you want to do. You don't want to fake it till you make it. You want to build on yourself. And you want to build from love and from inner joy, inner happiness. So I hope this helped. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon. No, I'm not finished yet. What am I talking about? We'll come back after. Okay, so it's all done now. By the way, I got a little crazy before because the beeper was telling me that the noodles were done. So I was making sure to get to that as quick as possible. Here's what it looks like all done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this in tin foil, put it in the oven for about 20-25 minutes, which I'm going to do later because we're not eating it yet. Put it in now just for a few minutes to get it cooking, and then I'll take it out and 25 minutes. Then I take the top off for about 5 to 10 minutes to let it get a little crispy on top as well. So it's layered. It's calzones, noodles, calzones, noodles, calzones. That's how it came out. And that's how it is. Egg noodles like that. And it's going to really be a lot of fun. So like I said, we'll cover it with tin foil, put it in the oven for 25 minutes, take it off, and then another 10 minutes. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Think about it. Think about what I'm talking about. Don't fake it till you make it. Don't gaslight anybody by telling them positive, 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 positive. Positive positivity when it's not really positive. It's just very hurtful for you, hurtful for everybody. So I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to connect below. Connect with Martin.com. I forgot to bring my cards up, but Warrior to Warrior card deck. You can get a link to them down there on below. Learn more about what I'm doing. Like this channel, share it with other people, subscribe to it, and let other people know. In the meantime, I hope you've enjoyed what we're doing today. Enjoy life, and don't forget, live incredibly full every day.